Hello and thanks for tuning in. My name's Rob, also known as the Sailorman, and yeah, welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for watching again. I've made a couple of changes to my Speidel Braumeister since the last time I made a video of it, so I thought instead of doing another brew day, I'd sort of talk a bit about them. Basically, you can probably tell already, it's not that complicated. I've put a little homemade jacket. I'm not really a big DIY person. That's probably why I was interested in the Speidel thing. When I first started brewing, I put together like the cooler mash tun and stuff like that, and it just didn't work. They leaked and things like that. So I've left it to professionals with the brewery. But I've done a couple of bits here. Not particularly well done, this thing, but I've sort of cut holes in an old piece of I guess it's roofing insulation, some kind of insulation that was lying around, and I've tested this. This is old. I've done a couple of brews with it. This at the top is new, and I'm actually just now trying it for the first time. This seemed to just let the kettle heat up quicker throughout the brew process and made the boil a bit more vigorous. I'm hoping in conjunction with that, the hood on the top with the extractor will make the boil even better. And the other thing I'm really excited about is, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you might realise that it looked a bit like a sort of sauna or steam type room in here when I was brewing. And it stopped me from hanging out in here making videos and just watching the TV or having a beer while I've been brewing. So I'm hoping that this, especially during the winter, extractor will let me brew and hang out in here without I don't know, being wet. I'm not sure. Hot and wet, yeah, I guess. Anyway, I will just show you now how it works. Okay, so this is just the standard stainless steel Braumeister hood that I put on. I've Jubilee clipped, and it's 10 or 100mm aluminium ducting. That's what you need if you want to do this. And it's just a ducting Jubilee clip at the bottom. It goes up and through a hole I cut in the shed. There's another Jubilee clip on this side and one on the other side too. Then I've also put this wooden support in, and the reason I've done that is so that if you need to take the hood off to put anything during the brew, this comes out and rests on the top like that, so you have access to the Braumeister. The Braumeister's obviously on a wheeled trolley, so to take the malt pipe out and things, you can just wheel the trolley away and do that somewhere else. So we'll see whether the system works later on. In the meantime, the only sensible thing to do seems to be to have a little taste of some beer, isn't it? But actually, a brief apology that thank you so much for subscribing. I haven't really been making as many videos as I would have wanted, because every free moment I've had, I've sort of been trying to build my beer stock up. And the reason for that is that in a couple of months I'm getting married, and foolishly I decided, and I told my fiancée, that I would brew all the beer for the wedding, and I'm starting to feel the pressure, to be honest. But no, I'm sure it'll be fine. But it does mean that we've got a few beers to go through. Now, to be honest, my brewing hasn't really been that interesting. I've been making quite a lot of lager and pale ale and things like that, probably because that's what I think people want to drink. But I do also have things like the Belgian triple that I made in my last video. We've got that to try. Now I think it's worth, they're all quite different. We've got a lager, a pale ale, a triple and a double, I think, to try. They're all quite different, but I think there's something that I've taken away from all of them as a group that I'd be very interested to see what you think about. But first of all, let's pour them out, and then we can have a chat about them over a beer. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to go through the palaver of trying to pour those out and hold them one-handed. It didn't really work very well. Anyway, suffice to say, these three all came from the kegs that I've been conditioning in the fridge. So they've been sat at just over freezing for a couple of weeks. The other one that looks a bit different, this one at the end, actually, interestingly, the clearest sample, but we'll get onto that in a minute. That is out of my conditioning in the fridge. Yeah, we'll talk about that one last. These three, first of all, if you watched the video for my Belgian triple, the last one, I'm trying to remember, yes, oh, sorry, it's been a long time, but what actually happened with that was I pitched some Gigi yeast originally, and it just didn't ferment at all, which was really annoying. And actually, this is going to contradict what I'm about to say later. Bear with me. Yeah, so I brewed it again and instead used Fermentis T58, which is sold as a bottle conditioning yeast, I think. But actually, its characteristics are quite similar to the Abbey strains. So, yeah, on the nose, it's got quite a lot of the phenolics. Again, almost quite wheat beery. If you watch the video that I made, or if you watched it on the Belgian double I brewed, that was with the Chimay yeast strain, and the aromatics on this yeast, which the T58 yeast is, this is a Belgian triple and that's a Belgian double, same recipe, same malt profile, hops and everything as the two I did on the one I did on the very first brew, and the aroma is quite similar. But I'm not sure I'd use the yeast again, and the reason for that is that, to be honest, for me it's slightly unfermented. Now I know the Belgian styles usually are a little bit sweet, but the start gravity was 1080 and the excess gravity points we finished up with around about 20, and I tried everything I could to get it going again, but it just wouldn't ferment anymore. And I didn't want to do something like put a Saison yeast or a Brett strain. I wanted to keep it relatively true to style, so I kegged it anyway. And it's not bad, but it's not particularly drinkable. Even though it's quite carbonated, I found it a tiny bit cloying, so not really that happy with it. It might be a brew again job. Now, less so is the Belgian double, so malt in hops profile, similar to the one that I really liked, that I brewed with the White Labs Chimay yeast, WLP 500 I think it is. And again, aroma pretty much dead on. And it's a little drier than the triple, but it just doesn't have the character of the White Labs Chimay strain. So again, it's not bad beer, but I'm not quite as happy with it as it could be. Now, another one made with a dried fermented yeast. This is a pale ale, Cascade Centennial hops, and this was with USO5 fermented yeast, which you've probably all got quite a lot of experience with. And when I've worked in commercial breweries, it's been, I imagine it's the most common pale ale or ale strain used as the house yeast for most professional breweries too. But it's not really nice, but I had huge problems making this beer. And the reason being is that I got, again, and I've had this problem when I've used this dry yeast before, I got a really bad diacetyl problem. Now, that was after I'd taken it off the bulk of the yeast and put it in the keg, so all I did was I took the keg and I put it in a warm room in the house for a week, and the problems cleared up. But it just doesn't seem to perform quite as well and quite as quickly as the wet yeast equivalent that I've also used, so the Y yeast California Ale or whatever it is. That said, the beer's okay, but another complaint I have is the hops that we get from the UK homebrew shops just make it quite difficult to make those American style beers. Maybe it's the batches that I've got, but they just don't pop like I would expect them to. So I've actually bought in some Citra and Simcoe as well as the Centennial and Cascade, and so on the next batch hopefully it gets a bit better. Now this one, the lager, again only a conditioning sample, so I'm actually going to keg this up and carbonate it later on today, but already you can see it's a bit clearer than the others, and actually it's definitely the one I'm most happy with. There's a bit of a spicy noble hop aroma, really clean, mellow drinking beer I think. And anyway, what I would attribute that to is the yeast was from Omega yeast, and it was the Bayern lager, and that was the same lager apparently that they used at Augustiner. And the reason I chose that is it's one of my favourite beers the Augustiner held, and I wanted to replicate it, or at least be a bit of an homage, I guess. And yeah, it's really nice. So my takeaway from it all basically is that from now on I'm going to try as much as possible to use wet yeast wherever I can, because my results with them just seem, on the whole, to be much better. Now I know I got that Gigi yeast pack that didn't work. I think that was just dead on arrival. But the White Labs ones particularly that I've used, I've been really happy with. The Omega yeast one, that was good too. So I'm going to stop being lazy and stop being cheap, and I'm going to use wet yeast from now on. Yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much about it for today. What I'm going to do is show you a video. I'm brewing at the moment, I'm just mashing at the moment. Once I'm up to a boil, I'm going to show you a video of how the extractor is working, if it's working. So yeah, fingers crossed that. So, good news, it works. It's really quite hot in here, but other than that, I mean, I can open a window, that's no problem. Other than that, halfway through the boil, no steam inside, and I'll go and take you to have a look outside, see it coming out the back. But other than that, I will see you next time for a new video soon.